A grandmaster of karate looked at Bruce Lee and said a single word: clown. What happened in the following 3 seconds not only proved he was wrong, it destroyed everything that Master believed he knew about the martial arts. Tokyo, Japan, March 1970. A Thursday afternoon, the Shotokan Dojo on Meiji Street. It is not just any dojo, it is one of the most respected in all of Japan. Founded in 1952 by Master Hiroshi Tanaka, a man who dedicated 45 years of his life to traditional karate. A man who trained under the direct supervision of the founders of the style. A man who never lost an official fight in his entire career. His students call him sensei with absolute reverence. For them, his word is law. His technique is perfect. His philosophy is unquestionable. The dojo is austere. Floors of wood polished by decades of training. White walls with Japanese calligraphy. The smell of sweat mixed with incense. Everything is designed for discipline. Everything breathes tradition. There are no mirrors like in Western gyms. There is no music. Only the sound of strikes against the air, the ki of the students, the respectful silence between repetitions. Today there are 30 students in the dojo. All wear impeccable white gi. All wear black or brown belts. This is not a place for beginners. This is the advanced level. Tanaka's best students. Those who have spent years perfecting every kata, every technique, every movement until it becomes instinct. The dojo door opens. Bruce Lee enters. He is 29 years old. He measures 1.70 meters. He weighs 61 kilos. He wears casual clothes, dark pants, black shirt, leather shoes. He does not wear a gi. He does not wear a belt. He does not bow to the portrait of the founder as protocol dictates. He just walks inside, observing everything with genuine curiosity. The students look at him. Some recognize him. The television series Green Hornet was broadcast in Japan. They know who he is. But here, in this dojo, Hollywood fame means nothing. Here what matters are the years of training, the lines of sweat, the respect earned through suffering. Master Tanaka is at the front of the dojo. He is 67 years old. Completely white hair, back straight as a sword, calloused hands from decades striking the makiwara. His black belt is worn, almost gray, a sign of years of constant use. In the world of traditional karate, a worn belt is a symbol of honor. It means you have dedicated your life to the art. Tanaka watches Bruce enter. He says nothing. He just observes. Bruce was invited by one of the Japanese producers working on a film. He wanted Bruce to see traditional karate in its purest form. He wanted to impress him. He wanted to show him that Japanese martial arts are superior to anything coming from China or Hong Kong. Bruce accepted the invitation with genuine humility. He is always willing to learn. He is always seeking what works. Flags and traditions do not matter to him. He cares about the truth of combat. Tanaka stops the class. He walks toward Bruce. His steps are silent but deliberate. Every movement controlled. Years of discipline in every gesture. He says in Japanese, which a translator converts to English, "So you are Bruce Lee, the Hollywood actor, the one who makes kung fu movies." Bruce nods. He says, "Yes. Thank you for receiving me in your dojo, master." Tanaka does not respond to the courtesy. He says, "I have seen clips of your movies. I have seen how you fight on screen." Bruce waits. He says nothing. Tanaka continues. Fast movements. Very showy. Very dramatic. Perfect for cinema. But that is not real martial art. That is acting. Entertainment. What we do here has centuries of perfection. Generations of masters dedicating their lives to polishing every technique to perfection. Bruce says calmly, "Every art has its value." Tanaka makes a contemptuous sound. He says, "In Hong Kong they have their cinema tricks, their invisible wires, their rehearsed choreographies. Here we have real combat, kata that have been unchanged for 400 years because they are already perfect." Bruce says, "I would like to see a demonstration." Tanaka signals. 3 of his best students step forward. They perform a synchronized kata. Their movements are precise, identical. Decades of repetition have eliminated any variation. They are like perfectly programmed machines. The sound of their gi cutting the air is rhythmic. The ki are powerful. The demonstration lasts 4 minutes. When they finish, they return to their positions without a visible drop of sweat. Absolute control. Tanaka looks at Bruce. He says, "This is karate. This is discipline. This takes years of sacrifice. It is not learned in a Hollywood studio." Bruce observes. He nods respectfully. He says, "Very impressive. The synchronization is perfect. But I have a question. Tanaka raises an eyebrow. He says, "Question." Bruce says, "What happens when the opponent does not cooperate?" The dojo falls silent. The students look at their master. No one questions Tanaka. Ever. It is an absolute lack of respect in dojo culture. Tanaka says coldly, "What do you mean?" Bruce says, "The kata are beautiful. But a kata is a fight against an imaginary opponent, an opponent who does exactly what you expect. What happens when the opponent is real? When he moves in unexpected ways? When he does not follow the script?" Tanaka says, "The kata teach the principles. The application comes later." Bruce says, "With all due respect, Master, I have seen many martial artists who perform perfect kata but cannot defend themselves in a real fight. How do you train adaptation here? The chaos of real combat?" Murmurs among the students. This is unheard of. A foreigner questioning the sensei's methods. Tanaka takes a step toward Bruce. His expression changes. The superficial courtesy disappears. He says, "You come here, to my dojo, without formal invitation, without the appropriate uniform, without showing the due respect, and you question our methods?" Bruce says, "It is not my intention to disrespect you. I am only asking questions." Tanaka says, "I have dedicated 45 years to karate. I have trained with the great masters. I have perfected every technique until it became an extension of my body. And you? What are your credentials? Movies? Television series? Choreographies rehearsed 20 times before filming?" Bruce remains calm. He says, "My credentials are simple. I studied Wing Chun in Hong Kong. I developed my own system based on what works. I train every day. I seek the truth in combat, not in titles." Tanaka says, "The truth in combat. You speak as if you know what real combat is, but all you do is dance in front of cameras." Bruce says, "Would you like to try it?" The dojo freezes. 30 students hold their breath. No one challenges the master. No one. Tanaka narrows his eyes. He says, "Are you challenging me?" Bruce says, "No. I am offering a demonstration. You showed me a kata. I can show you something different. Without kata. Without choreography. Just reaction." Tanaka laughs. It is a short, contemptuous laugh. He says to his students in Japanese, "Do you hear this? The Hollywood clown wants to teach us about combat." Pathetic. The students laugh nervously, not out of conviction, but out of obligation. The master said it was funny. They must laugh. Bruce hears the word clown. He understands enough Japanese. His expression does not change. There is no anger, no wounded ego, only calm. He says, "Master, may I ask you something simple?" Tanaka says, "What?" Bruce says, "Try to hit me." Absolute silence. Tanaka says, "You want me to hit you?" Bruce says, "Yes. One strike. Whichever you prefer. Whenever you want." Tanaka looks at his students. He sees the opportunity. This foreigner has disrespected the dojo. A public lesson would be appropriate, educational. It would put this Hollywood actor in his place. Tanaka says, "This will not be a light point of contact. If you ask me to hit you, I will do it with real intent." Bruce says, "Understood." Tanaka assumes his stance. The stance he has perfected for 45 years. Feet planted, hips loaded, fists clenched, every muscle prepared for the explosion. Bruce stands naturally, hands at his sides, no visible stance. He looks like someone waiting for the bus. The students watch. Some draw premature conclusions. The foreigner does not even know how to adopt a guard. He will be destroyed. Tanaka takes a deep breath. He focuses. 45 years of training channeled into a single moment. His signature strike, Gyaku Zuki. The reverse punch, straight, direct, devastating. He has executed it 100,000 times in his life. His speed is legendary. 20-year-olds cannot dodge it. Tanaka attacks. The fist travels in a straight line toward Bruce's face. 3 seconds. The first second, Tanaka launches the punch. Perfect. As he has always practiced, hip rotation, arm extension, knuckle alignment. The second, the fist passes through the space where Bruce's head was. But Bruce is no longer there. He has moved a fraction. A lateral step so small it seems he did not move at all. Tanaka's fist passes centimeters from his cheek. The third second, Bruce is inside, behind Tanaka's extended arm. Too close for Tanaka to react. Bruce's hand is at Tanaka's throat. He does not press. He just touches. The fingers surround the trachea. A gentle movement would be enough to cause serious damage. Bruce says softly, "Here." The dojo falls silent. 30 students have just seen the impossible. Their master, the undefeated man, the guardian of tradition, has been neutralized in 3 seconds, without violence, without drama, only pure efficiency. Tanaka is paralyzed, not by physical fear, by cognitive shock. In 45 years, no one has overcome his defense. No one has managed to touch him in a real exchange. No one. Bruce withdraws his hand. He steps back. He bows respectfully. He says, "Master, your technique is excellent. The problem is not your speed or your strength. The problem is prediction. You told me exactly what you were going to do before doing it. Your stance screamed Gyakuzuki. Your eyes looked where you were going to strike. Your whole body telegraphed the action." Tanaka finds his voice. He says, "How?" Bruce says, 45 years perfecting a technique means 45 years doing the same thing. When something becomes so automatic, it becomes predictable. An opponent who observes can read it like an open book. Tanaka says slowly, "Then perfection is weakness?" Bruce says, "The perfection of a pattern is weakness. The perfection of a movement is strength. The difference is subtle but enormous. You master patterns. I try to master adaptation." Prolonged silence. The students do not know how to react. Their world has just been turned upside down. Tanaka does something no one expected. He bows to Bruce, a deep bow of genuine respect. He says, "I called you a clown. I was wrong. I was arrogant. I underestimated what I did not understand." Bruce says, "We all do that. I do too. The difference is being willing to learn when we are shown we are wrong." Tanaka says, "Would you teach me?" Bruce says, "I can show you some ideas, but you already have the foundation. 45 years of discipline are valuable. You just need to add what is missing. The ability to break your own patterns, the openness to the unexpected." For the next 3 hours, Bruce works with Tanaka, not as master and student in the traditional sense, as two people exploring movement together. Bruce shows concepts, Tanaka tests them. Some work immediately, others require adjustments. It is a physical dialogue between two different philosophies. The students watch. Some are confused, others fascinated. They see their master learning. They see tradition bending without breaking. At the end of the session, Tanaka says, "For 45 years I thought the path was only one, perfecting what previous masters perfected, never questioning, just repeating until error disappeared." Bruce says, "That path has value. It gave you discipline, endurance, solid techniques. But any path that does not allow questioning eventually becomes a prison." Tanaka nods. He says, "In 3 seconds you destroyed 45 years of certainty. I should be furious. But I only feel gratitude. It is strange." Bruce says, "Destroyed certainty is space created. Now you can fill that space with something new. That is not loss. It is growth." Tanaka says, "How did you arrive at this philosophy?" Bruce says, "By failing. By being defeated. By discovering that what I believed did not work. Each defeat forced me to adapt. Each destroyed certainty made me more flexible." Years later, Tanaka would transform his teaching. He did not abandon traditional karate. He expanded it. He added free fighting training. He allowed his students to question. He invited practitioners of other styles to exchange ideas. Some traditionalists criticized him. They said he had betrayed the art. But his students became more complete, better fighters, better thinkers. In 1973, when Bruce died, Tanaka traveled to Hong Kong for the funeral. He brought a traditional Japanese offering, a letter that simply said, 3 seconds changed 45 years. Thank you for having the patience to teach an old, arrogant man. Tanaka lived to 89 years old. He continued teaching until the end. But his first question to new students was always the same. Are you willing to discover that everything you believe you know might be wrong? Those who answered yes sincerely stayed. Those who could not accept that possibility found another dojo. That question was the true legacy of those 3 seconds. Not the technique, not the speed. The humility to accept that there is always more to learn. How many times have you called someone a clown just because they did things differently? How many times have you dismissed an idea because it did not fit your frame of reference? How many times have you confused tradition with truth? 3 seconds is all it takes to prove that your certainties might be illusions. The question is, what will you do when that happens? Will you defend your ego or embrace learning? Tanaka chose to learn. He was 67 years old. If he could, you can too. The 3 most important seconds of your life might be right in front of you. The question is whether you will have the courage to recognize them when they arrive.